Welcome to Unscripted, an IICRC video production. Today, we will dig into something that's starting to reshape how this industry thinks about clean. Not just about how it looks, but how it's measured, understood, and proven. I'm talking about the CIRI Science Symposium, bringing together researchers, industry leaders, and field professionals to focus on a core idea. Cleaning must be rooted in science. I think I said that slow enough. Cleaning must be rooted in science. This isn't theory. It's about evidence-based practices, measurable outcomes, and what that means for the future of cleaning, restoration, and health. And to learn more about this, I'm pleased to welcome Kevin Pearson.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Glad to have you. And as a spokesperson for CIRI, we're going to learn all about what that is. But let me ask you this very important question. How's Kevin doing?
Well, it's funny you should ask. 4 weeks ago to today, I had quadruple heart bypass surgery. So if my voice sounds a little weird, I sound like I'm getting out of breath, that's why. So I'm doing good though. I'm on the mend. Wasn't expected at all. Went in for a totally different procedure. Came out with quadruple bypass. So anyway,
Eh,
it's been a long ordeal.
Well, I'm glad you're here with us today to do this. And at the symposium, it wouldn't be the same without you. So I'm glad you're doing okay.
Thank you.
You were what, chairman of IICRC about 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
During COVID from 2019 to 2021.
Okay, so you know a thing or two about what's going on behind the scenes, and that's what we want to dig into.
Totally.
So let's do this. Let's talk about the symposium, the series symposium. Why this event? Why now?
Well, as you know, about the end of 2024, John Downey came to IICRC and said, "Hey, we're either going to shut down CIRI or we need IICRC to take it over." And I had worked with John for years. I had actually tried to uh, get CIRI to come under the IICRC umbrella whenever I was chair. It didn't work out then. But John said, hey, I want you guys to take it over. So we did. And I want to say it took a few months to get all the legal stuff done. In 2025, we had our first CIRI meeting. So, and now we've published two Journal of Cleaning Science magazines. We've gotten CIRI back on its feet again and starting to do what CIRI had always set out to do. So it's been a fun ride.
Yeah, I had lunch with John recently. He lives near me here in Ohio, and he seems pretty happy how things are going. So, you, thank you, IICRC, and your work, Kevin. I know the vision was there, but to keep that organization going, it has a good home. That's for sure.
Well, when John was on the IICRC board back in somewhere around 2011, 2012, we had the idea to have the journal. And John and I were on a committee back then to start the journal. And, John ended up running it for several years after some other people initially ran it. And then when that all ended, John went to CIRI and started it there. And so now the journal's kind of back under the IICRC umbrella. And it's really cool to kind of have been a part of that process To see it mature for, I guess, been close to 15 years now, to be a part of all that through what it's gone through. So, like John, it holds a special place in my heart as well.
Absolutely. And I recall those days, and I did some peer reviewing work with John on some of those articles. Deep stuff. Deep stuff, Kevin.
It is. It is. Each article uh, usually gets at least three peer reviews. So, and I got to quit calling them articles. They're papers. So it's
Yeah.
different than a trade magazine. But yeah, it goes through a lot of scrutiny
Yeah.
before it
What
gets to
goes into clean facts goes through a little scrutiny as well, usually just me and maybe another editor. So different
right,
process.
right.
But
Yeah.
so yeah, that's good. That's good. The journal's back and you're publishing it and you have a good editor for that. I noticed that as well. So that's nice.
Yes, we do. Patty Hartman
Mhm.
is the editor, and she is great. She has taken this thing, and I know she's worn John's ear out, going, "Hey, I want to make sure I'm doing this stuff right."
That's the right question
So
to ask. That's the right question to ask.
yeah, yeah,
Let's talk about the event because we know CIRI is an organization now under the IICRC umbrella. You have the journal, but this event, the Science Symposium, how is that beneficial? It's about science and cleaning, but how is that beneficial for those in the field? Because IICRC is all about the technicians doing the work. Can you talk about that?
yeah. We're building the event to be bringing science to practice. So it's all about how we can get the information that the research is being done on to the technicians in the field and make it understandable. You know, for some reason, they thought it'd be a good idea to have me as chairman of CIRI, even though I didn't complete college. And here I am with all these university professors, research scientists from all over the world, and it's been kind of an eye-opening experience for me. I've learned so much being a part of this, and I really enjoy seeing all the cool research that comes out and just think how it could have really affected me when I had my cleaning and restoration company, and that's what I kind of think of is um, how does this affect me in the field? Let's get the science is great, but how do you apply it? And that's really what this symposium is all about.
Now, is the chairmanship of CIRI similar to IICRC? Do you serve a term?
Um, well, yes, we do have elections,
Okay.
but it's run a little different. IICRC has shareholders, CIRI doesn't, and they've always run it a little differently. Usually, the way they've run it in the past is they ran it till people wanted to quit, and then they said, "Okay, we need somebody else."
Oh, that's
So
funny.
we're trying to develop a lot of that structure.
Yeah, I like that, Kevin, because you're passionate about this organization, the CIRI Symposium, and sticking with it until you want to quit. I like that. So, yeah, and stay
Yeah,
healthy.
yeah,
Stay healthy as well.
exactly. But I don't want to do it as long as I've been on the IICRC board because this is year 15 for me on the IICRC board. And so I've already told them I'm not running again. I'll be on other committees. I'm going to do the series stuff, but it's time for somebody else to take over those reins on the
You know what I just heard you
IICRC
say? I
board.
heard you say you're going to give 15 years to the CIRI organization. I think I
Yeah,
heard that.
well, I think when you review the tape, you'll hear what I actually said.
All right. All joking aside, Kevin, Talk about this. What kind of conversations or takeaways will people really get at the symposium? I know we talked about those in the field, and we know everyone should attend, no matter who you are. But what kind of conversations or takeaways?
Well, you're going to get to ask the researchers all about their research, not just what they present. They're going to be there for you to talk to all day, and that's going to be huge. So you can, if you don't think of a question right away, they're still going to be there that day and the next day. And we really do have some dynamic speakers. They're going to be talking all about uh, different aspects of smoke and fire restoration. We actually have somebody from NASA coming to talk, and they're going to talk about how they go about cleaning the space station and stuff like that. We have an art restoration lady who is actually fascinating to talk to. How do you restore art that's either been through a fire or category 3 water or all of it? So, there's going to be a lot of things for a lot of different people.
And for those coming, think about your business, think about your work, and have concerns ready to present. I would think that's a smart move to customize it for yourself as best you can. Would you agree?
Most definitely, because if you come in and say you do a lot of fire restoration work or you do a lot of mold work, then you're going to be able to have the experts there
Hmm.
in those fields that are doing the research to see. So if you got questions or stuff that you're always wondering about, maybe those researchers haven't exactly either gotten to that point in their research or they haven't thought about that aspect. So there's going to be a lot of things that they may be able to learn from people in the field of how it's actually done and how people in the field can apply what they've been doing, you know, uh, back at their companies. So it's gonna work both ways, and I, I I think that's the way it's going to go because the last couple of years, CIRI has had researchers speak to the IICRC instructors at their annual meeting. And that's pretty much the way it's gone there is, the instructors, whenever the researchers are in the room, they don't leave. They don't get up and go to the bathroom. They're there, they're engaged, they're asking questions. And the researchers are also learning from them. And then they can come back the next year and go, hey, we got your answer because we didn't know it was a thing. So it works both ways.
Yeah, I agree that we're always learning, no matter who we are. And if you think you're not, or if you refuse to learn, you should retire. It's game over. So,
That's true. That's true.
one last main
That's why
point.
it's been so. That's why it's been so exciting for me to be the chair of this because all the learning and
Hmm,
totally out of my comfort zone kind of feeling
that's okay.
that, yeah, yeah. And it's been great. It's very rewarding to me. And at first, I would never have thought that. So it's
Well,
a neat experience.
you do have a lot of experience in the industry and with your 15 short years at IICRC on the board. So, Kevin, let's talk impact. I know the IICRC and now CIRI as well always has a look, they're looking at the horizon, the future, and how to make it better, not just now, which is important, but years to come. This event, how do you see that really influencing the industry long term?
Well, it's something that's going to be totally different than any event that's out there in the industry now. And I think as it goes along and we find out what more people want to see research on, there's so much being done. We just kind of had to pick the top topics that we thought would be applicable this time. But there's so much more research being done that I think every year we can build on that and bring in more and more people. It's really a great value if you look at what you're getting when you have researchers from Yale and University of Toronto. We got researchers from Australia, NIST, Berkeley Labs, just from all over.
Everyone's convinced they need to be there. How do they learn more and register? Can you talk about that process?
It's on ciriscience.org. You can go there and register. This is going to be September 28th and 29th at the Palms Hotel in Las Vegas. And it is a really cool venue. It's at the top of one of the Palms Towers. So it's like on the 52nd or 54th floor, something. And there's one whole wall is like a glass wall, as so you can see the whole valley. It's really cool. And then they actually have an outside feature to it. So during breaks, you can actually go on a patio out there. But it's going to be a really nice event that I don't think there's anything in the industry like this, or there has never even been anything in the industry like it.